to Beyond the Cowl. Today we are making this gorgeous pennant bunting. If you've already seen the other pennant bunting today, you will know that this is a lot bigger and it's a different shape. And this one has little appliques on top. So I'm going to show you how to make this pennant with the pointy bottom. We start at the bottom and work up to the top. Really simple, really simple. Just we repeat the same pattern over and over. We just make it bigger. Really, really simple. So I'm going to show you how to make the actual pennant flag. And then I'm going to show you how to make the heart. And I'm going to show you how to make the star. Really easy, nothing too complicated in this. And the star, there are two sizes you can make, because you can stop when we get with the points, you can stop, or you can continue and do a single crochet round. So this is a gorgeous design. I love these pennants, this shape. And they would be great as just one hanging on its own. I can imagine, you know, an initial on there on a child's bedroom door, or do this in a starfish colour, have it hanging in the bathroom. So just one would look fantastic on its own, or a whole string. Now I've only got two today because I was running out of time. So I've only got two. But this would look great as a whole string with just different appliques, different colours. Would be gorgeous. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to attach them in a slightly different way to how we've done the other buntings so far. So grab your things and let's get started. Okay, so we are going to work from the point up and out, and then make the square part on top. Okay, and we're going to start with a magic ring and chain 2. Okay, now the chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch either now or in the future rows. It won't count as anything, it'll just be there. Sometimes it counts as a half double crochet, but it's not counting as anything today. So let me look at the pattern. We are going to do a half double crochet into the ring and a single crochet and another half double crochet, and then pull the ring tight, and that is the bottom. Then we are going to, oops, move my scissors, I keep clonking on them. So we are going to chain 2, turn the work around, do a half double crochet in the first stitch, and a single crochet in the first stitch, and then a single crochet in the next stitch, and in the last stitch a single crochet, just have a look to find exactly where your stitch is. I think some of it might be at the front. So single crochet and then a half double crochet in that stitch. Okay, there we go. So far 5 stitches you should have now. And then the next row we are going to chain 2, turn your work. Sorry, I have a tablet here with the pattern on, so I'm just kind of referring to that. So chain 2, and then in the first stitch a half double crochet. Oops, splitting my yarn, that's not good. So half double crochet and a single crochet, and then one single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And in the last stitch we are going to do a single crochet, and again that might be slightly at the front, Just find your way under both loops of that stitch. The last stitch may always be slightly tricky. Okay, so single crochet and then a half double crochet in that same stitch. Okay, there we go. Now each row is going to increase by 2 single crochets, okay, because on every row we're going to do the half double crochet and single crochet in the first stitch, and in the last stitch a single crochet and a half double. So every row will have those 2 extra single crochets and 1 in every stitch in between. So that's how you're going to continue. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches. Okay, for that row 3 we have 7 stitches, and then for the next row we're going to have 9 stitches. So I'm going to do this next row with you. So chain 2, turn your work, and then a half double crochet in the first stitch, and a single crochet in the same stitch, single crochet all the way along until the last stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in the last stitch single crochet and a half double crochet, and you now have 9 stitches. There we go, 9 stitches. Okay, so you want to continue in this style, continue this pattern with chaining 2, turn your work, and then in the first stitch half double crochet, single crochet, 1 single crochet in each stitch, and then in the last stitch single crochet and half double crochet. Okay, and you're going to do this for a total of 10 rows. So we have done row 4, 9 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've done row 4, so you're going to do 6 more rows and you'll finish with 21 stitches. Okay, so continue this until you have 21 stitches and 10 rows, and then I will join you back. And there we go, there is my pointy part of the pennant, or flag if you like, if you prefer to call it that. So now we just need to make the square part above it. So what we're going to do is 17 rows straight across of single crochet. So chain 1, single crochet back, single crochet back along all 21 stitches, and that's it. When you get to the end, chain 1 and turn and make 21 stitches back along, and then you're going to do that for 17 rows, and that is your pennant, your little flag. So simple but yet effective. So I am just going to work this row. Okay, do my last stitch. There we go. So 21 single crochets along the row, chain 1, turn your work and work back along 21 single crochets until you have 17 rows. So you might want a piece of pen and paper, and a pen to mark off your rows, or a stitch counter or something. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to continue this one and I'll come back and show you when I'm done in just a moment. Okay, I have my pennant made and this is what it's looking like now. So let me have a look at the size. It is about just over 4.5 inches wide. So that's 12 centimeters. and from the top to the point it is almost, well, 5¼ almost 5½ inches or 13½ centimeters. So that's how big mine is. Let's just do that once more because I've forgotten. Okay, so 4½ by 5¼ inches. That's how big mine is. Okay, and it is single crochet, so it does like to curl, so you may want to block these. And I have told you about blocking before. You just need a thick towel or a towel folded up. You could also use a cushion or a foam mat, foam pad. One of the children's play mats are good, or a garden kneeling pad, or even a thick piece of cardboard like from a box, or something like that, and then just pin your item out. So I would pin this in each corner of this part and then at the point. So pin it out, spray it with some water and leave it to dry, and that when you take it off it should not be curly. You can also steam it with an iron, but make sure if you're using acrylic that the iron doesn't touch the work or it will melt it. So don't let the iron touch acrylic yarn, but you could steam it from above and then let it dry. Okay, so that is one pennant. Now I'm going to make a couple more. You know I like to do things in threes generally when I do the bunting, so you get a bit of an idea of what they look like together. So I'm going to make a couple more off camera. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you how you can make some appliques to go on there. We're going to have a heart and a star. I'm going to show you how to make the heart first. So I'm going to grab another colour yarn and show you how to do the heart. Okay, to start the heart, you need your slip knot on your hook, and then we're going to chain 4 and slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring. Oops. Or you could use a magic circle if you prefer. Now you'd think I've made these rings plenty of times, I'd be okay, wouldn't you? Oh dear, only step 1 and I'm struggling. Okay, right, just making sure there's a centre in there. Okay, right, so a chain 4, slip stitch and form a ring, or use a magic ring, and then chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then 2 more double crochet into the ring. You are essentially making the first round of a basic granny square. So another double crochet in the ring. So you now have 3 double crochet. Well, you have your chain 3 and 2 double crochet. So 3 double crochet in effect. Chain 2 and then 3 double crochet into the ring. Chain 2, 3 more double crochet into the ring, chain 2, and a final 3 double crochet into the ring. Chain 2 and then slip stitch to the top of your starting chain 3. So as you can see, it is like the first round of a basic granny square. Actually, it's the start of quite a lot of squares of crochet. Quite a lot start off with that. So there we go. You should have, pull the tail in a bit tighter, and then you should have a square with 4 corners of 2 double crochet and 4 sides, each with 3 double crochet. There you go. Okay, so round 2. Okay, round 2 again is like the second round of a granny square. We are going to slip stitch across, so slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. I don't know how you would normally do your granny square, but this is how we're going to do it today. So slip stitch in those 2 stitches and then into the corner space. And then you're going to do chain 3 for your first double crochet and then 2 double crochets. So we're making 3 altogether. Okay, so chain 3 and 2 double crochets. And then chain 2 and do 3 more double crochet in that same corner space. Okay, and then chain 1, and that takes us over the top of these 3 stitches and to the next corner. So in the next corner, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then chain 1 to take you from corner to corner, and then do the same in this corner, chain 1 and do the last corner, and then chain 1, and then we will be slip stitching into this first chain, but I'll join you back to do that last bit of joining. So each corner, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and chain 1 to take you over to the next corner. Okay, so when you've done your last corner, do your final chain 1 to take you across the center, and then you want to slip stitch in the top of that first chain 3. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so round 3 is where we're going to make this into the heart shape rather than just being a square. Okay, so slip stitch over to your corner chain 2 space, just like we did last round. Slip stitch over, so 1 in each of the next 2 stitches, and then slip stitch into that corner. Okay, so we are in our corner space here. Okay, we slip stitch to here. We're going to make our stitches into this chain 1 space in the middle of the side. Okay, in this chain 1 in the middle, we're going to do 12 treble crochets. So yarn over twice for your treble, and then go into that chain 1 in the center, yarn over, pull through, and then we just yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Now that end of the stitch there does go quite big. It's difficult to avoid that, but don't worry about it. It's not a problem. So then just continue making your treble crochets into this center stitch. Sorry, into the center chain space. Okay, 12 treble crochets. Okay, and you can see how they're starting to fan out. You can see how they're starting to spread around. If I lay this down here, you can probably see it better. It's starting to spread around. This is what's going to form our heart shapes. We're going to have some here and then some here. So continue making your treble crochets in that chain 1 space, and then I will see you back to do the other side. So 12 trebles in this center chain 1, and there we go. There's my 12 treble crochets making this arch effect there. So this corner here of your square is actually going to be the point of your heart, and we're going to do some more trebles on this side. Okay, so what you want to do now is slip stitch into this corner. Okay, slip stitch into this next corner just to secure that on there. Okay, so then we're then going to use the chain 1 space in the middle of this next side and do 12 treble crochets into there, just the same as we did here. 12 trebles into here, which will fan out, and then slip stitch into this next corner when you've done all 12 treble crochets, and that will be your heart. So I'm going to do this and then I'll see you back. Okay, when you have finished your 12 treble crochets and slip stitch in the corner, this is what you'll have. This is your heart. Gorgeous, and I love how it works up, and it's just so simple, so simple. So you want to fasten this off now, and ideally you could just fasten off and leave a long tail so that you can sew it onto your pennants. Okay, so fasten off and leave a long tail for sewing. So this is how I do my fastening off. I've got a thingy on my top hanging down, and I nearly cut that. This, what do you call it, a tie, and I nearly cut my top. Not clever. So I'm just going to cut a nice long tail, pull that tight, pull that centre tight, and there we go. So I'm going to sew this centre tail in, and then this will be what I use to sew it to the pennant. And you can see it's a really good size for that. Perfect sizing. Love it. Love it. There we go. Gorgeous. So you could use any colours. It's great. These hearts would be great for using up scrap yarn. You know what I think about using up scrap yarn. I love using up these little bobbins of scrap yarn. Love it. I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out of these bobbins. I'm going to have to make up some more, I'm sure, just to have some more little bits and pieces around. So that is our, I suppose you could call it a granny heart, because it's done using the granny square to start. So I love that. Gorgeous. So that is the heart, and now I'm going to show you the star. I'm going to get a different colour. Okay, let's start our star. Now, you can start with a magic circle, magic ring, whatever you want to call it, and then chain 3. Okay, magic ring and chain 3. Or, if you want a slightly easier way, if you don't like the magic ring, by all means, if you like the magic ring, go ahead and make your magic ring, okay? If you don't like, or you have trouble with the magic ring, then chain 4. Okay? And we're going to work into the bottom chain, leaving 3, and that will be our starting chain 3. Okay, so magic ring, chain 3, or chain 4, and then we're going to work into the bottom chain. Okay, simples. So we are going to do 2 double crochet either into our ring or our bottom chain. So 2 double crochet. Okay. So if you're working into this bottom chain, this is now what you are going to class as your ring. Okay, this bottom chain is your ring. So we've had a chain 3 and then 2 double crochet and then chain 1, and then you want 4 more times to do 3 double crochet and chain 1. Now you might think this little chain here is not going to fit it all in, but it will. It'll grow. It'll grow and you can fit it all in, not a problem. So you want 3 double crochet and then chain 1 and then 5 sets of 3 double crochet all together. Because we are doing a 5-pointed star. One, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th set. As you can see, this chain is just growing nicely, doing just what we want it to. Okay, last chain 1, and then we're going to slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch to that 3rd chain of our starting chain 3. There we go, and then whichever, gosh, I really should put my teeth in, whichever chain or ring you're using, pull it tight. And there we go, there are 5 sets of 3 double crochet there. It's hard to see because they've only got chain 1 separating, but there we go. Okay, round 2, round 2, we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to make the point of the star now. So single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then we're going to go from small to big. So we're going to do a half double crochet in the next chain, double crochet in the next, and a treble crochet in the last chain. So we have single crochet, half double, double and treble, and then we are going to slip stitch in the chain 1 space of the previous round. So if you have a job to see where your chain 1 is, just count 3 stitches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and it's the next bit to it. So if you've got a really small chain, just count your stitches. Okay, so you can see this point sits on top of those 3 double crochet. So we're going to do this all the way around for all 5 sets of 3 double crochet. So I will show you that once more. I don't know if you can hear those birds tweeting outside, but we've got some very noisy birds outside today. Okay, so chain 5. And then in the second chain from the hook, single crochet, and then a half double crochet in the next chain, a double crochet in the next, and a treble crochet, that's yarn over twice, in the last chain, and then slip stitch in the next chain 1 space below. Now I don't know if you can see that I've only got 2 stitches there. I went a bit wrong and I've only got 2 stitches, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go into that space. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think anyone's going to notice it, even though I will. There we go. Okay, oh, it looks like a little cat. You could stop here and you could make it into a little cat. Look, it's like little cat ears. Oh dear, it's one of those days. Okay, so you're going to continue this around every set of stitches, so you will have 5 points by the end, and when you've done your 5th point, you are going to slip stitch into the same chain 1 space. Okay, and I will see you when I've done all 5. Okay, here is my star. Now, if this star is big enough for you, if this is the size you would like it to be, you can fasten off and leave it there, and you can completely have your star at that size, and that would be absolutely fine. Okay, but we are going to make it just slightly bigger, okay, and just give it a nice edge. So what we're going to do is slip stitch into the first chain of this chain 5 on this first point we made. So we've slip stitched into this chain 1 space here. Okay, you can see through there. Okay, so we slip stitch into this chain 1 space. Now we're going to slip stitch across into our first chain at the bottom here. Okay, so it's actually the chain that we did our treble crochet into. So slip stitch into there, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the next 3 chains. Okay, so we're working in the bottom of the chain where we've got the stitch this way up, and we're working into the bottom of the chain. So single crochet in this same stitch that we've done this slip stitch into, same chain, sorry, that we did the slip stitch into. Okay, and then we're going to do a single crochet in each of the next 3 chains. So that would be where we did our double crochet, our half double crochet, and then where we did our single crochet. Okay, so that's at the bottom of the stitches of the chains. And then in the chain at the top, so we did we went into the second chain of our 5. So in that chain at the top, if you can find that chain at the top there, you're going to do a single crochet and then chain 1 and another single crochet in that same chain. Okay, and then we're going to turn, and now we're going to work in the top of these stitches. Okay, so you can see the top of the stitches like normal now, and we're going to do a single crochet in the top of each of these 4 stitches. Okay, so we have a single crocheted our way around that point, all the way up the chain, in the point, and back down the stitches. And then we are going to slip stitch to the slip stitch of the previous round. So the slip stitch here in the middle, we're going to slip stitch to that. Now, if you've done your slip stitches really tightly and you can't get into it, then just go underneath it, back into that same chain 1 space. Okay, if you can't get into your slip stitch, just do it into the chain 1 space, and that's completely fine. I know some of us do our slip stitches really tightly, so just do it into that same chain space and it's fine. It will just work that slip stitch over the other one. Okay, so then we're going to work back up and down the next point. So I'm going to show you it once more. We're going to go into the first chain, the bottom of that treble, and do a single crochet, and then 1 into the next, that's 2, and then another 3, and then the 4th. So there's 4 all together. Okay, and then the top chain, go into there and do a single crochet and a chain 1 and a single crochet, and then work back down 1 single crochet into the top of each of these 4 stitches. So another 4 single crochet. Okay, and then once again slip stitch into your slip stitch, or if you can't get into there, if it's too tight, go into that chain 1 space and do a slip stitch. Okay, and continue that around all of your points. So you should have 3 left now. Work that around, and then I'll see you back to do our final sort of slip stitching and fastening off. I can never say that word properly, so I'll join you at the end to fasten off. Okay, when you have done your last slip stitch, you're going to just fasten off. I thought we were slip stitching somewhere else, but we're not. So we're just going to fasten off and leave a nice long tail, as we did for the heart. Leave a nice long tail for sewing to your pennant. And there we go. Pull that tight, and there we go. There's your star. Or you might have a smaller star if you finished with round 1. So just pop that on there and show you. I'm going to turn it around to try and hide my set of 2 stitches there. And there we go. There is the star. So again, you can see it's a really good size for this pennant, and you could have it however you like, really. You could put it at an angle, point it upwards, whichever you like. It is your design, your work, your bunting. So that is our heart and our star, and let me just move that tail out of the way. There we go, our heart and our star, and of course our pennant. So I'm going to make a couple more pennants now, and then I'm going to show you how this can look and show you how to attach your pennants together. So I'm going to make this, and then I will be back in just a jiffy on screen. Hello, I am back. I have made a second pennant. Now I'm kind of running out of time today to make a third, so I've just done 2 today. Obviously you can make as many or as few as you like. You might want to just do 1 and just hang it somewhere, just as a sort of, you know, on its own sort of flag, and that would be beautiful and lovely, just all on its own. So I've just got 2 here, and I don't have time to block them either, so I'm just going to try and curl them back on themselves a bit, so yours will look much neater, I'm sure. I've sewn in the ends, and I've sewn in the centre tails of my heart and star, leaving the long tails for sewing on. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you in just a moment how to attach these together. You can use any method for attaching these as you like. We've made a few buntings by now, and there's different ways of attaching things together, using chains, using single crochets, half double crochets, all kinds of things. But today we're going to do it with just a piece of yarn, kind of as a string. Okay, that's the way I'm going to show you, but obviously you can do whatever you like here. So before you attach these together, it would be easier for you if you've got sort of several going along, to attach your appliques first. Sew those on before you connect your pennants, because if not, you'll be sort of having all of these hanging together, connected, and you'll be trying to sew onto just one. So attach those first. I'm actually going to attach mine after, because I'm going to cheat and just pop the yarn through to the back and make it look like they're attached, just for the sake of the video. Okay, so ideally, before we continue, you are going to sew your motifs on. Okay, and then when you've done that, come back and join me and we'll do the next step. Okay, so you need to determine how long you need your yarn to be, because we're going to cut it and then we're going to use it on a needle rather than a hook. Sorry, just my tripod was getting a bit wobbly, so I just having to fix it up. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so you'll need a needle, so ideally a nice chunky one. Go through your stitches nicely. So determine how long you need your yarn to be. Just measure along your pennants and see how long you need it to be, and then unless you want your pennants to be right next to each other, then allow some yarn for the gap. Okay, so I'm going to measure, that's across there, and then a bit for in between, and then I'm going to add some for the end and some for the other end, and just a bit of extra just in case. Okay, so I always like to just cut a little extra if I can. If I have enough, I like to cut a little extra just to make sure I'm not going to run out. Okay, and then thread your needle. And if you want to, you can attach this to a ring, like a split key ring type ring, a curtain hook, a shower ring, anything that you want to use to hang it up to wherever you're going to hang your bunting. Sometimes I said you can make chains and then you can link it to here, to the start. But because we're using just a single piece of yarn, then the chain could look a little odd. Could do, it could look great. So the other thing you can do is just make a little loop at the end, knot that around and make a little loop for hanging if you don't want to use a ring, or you can make a slip knot there or something. Okay, so you can make that for the each end if you prefer. Okay, so if your pennants are different, you want to make sure they're in the order that you're going to have them attached, from left to right. No, from right to left if you are right-handed, or left to right if you're left-handed. So I would pop this one on top, and then these would go on top of the one next to it, and then so I'd have the first one on top, and I would sew from right to left. Okay, so what we're going to do is some sewing. So we're going to start a few rows down, so 3 or 4 rows down from the top, and we're going to skip a couple of stitches and then go in to that stitch, and I'm going to leave a bit of tail there because I might do that loop on the end. So leave a tail, just hold on to that so it doesn't go anywhere, and then we're going to go over a couple of stitches and then under 3 stitches. Okay, so you can see where your stitches are, you've got the holes there, so 1, 2, and then back up from 3. Okay, or if you prefer to have more yarn showing at the front, you can go over 3 and under 2. It's entirely up to you, but try and keep it consistent so that it looks even. Okay, you want it to look even and neat, really, so let's try and keep that consistent. So 1, 2, 3, okay, and then over 2, and then we're skipping the last 2 stitches, so that works out. So you've got roughly the same width left. Sorry if I was out of frame there. You've got the same width left at either side. Okay, so you've got this nice little row of stitches on the front there making a feature, and I love that, love that, love that. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go under a stitch at the back here, just under the back loop, and just secure that there so that it won't slide along. Okay, so if I put this in the wash, if it's hanging up and gets a bit dusty, I can put it in the wash and know that's not going to go anywhere. Okay, and then I'm going to bring my next one in at the back, and I'm going to go under a stitch. Make sure you go into the same row. Okay, so where are we? 1, 2 down. So I'm just going to secure this under a stitch, pull this along, make sure you leave a gap that you want, however close or however far apart you want. I'm just going to secure this around this stitch. Okay, there we go, so that can't go anywhere now. And then going to do exactly the same, just make sure you go into the same row. I think I've gone a little low, so I'm just going to go into here. Okay, so I did go a little low, I just had to bring this up here, but it's fine, it's fine. And then I'm going to do exactly the same as the previous pennant or flag. 1, 2, I can't even see my stitches now, gosh. There we go. And just continue along and work this along for all of your pennants to the end. So there we go, got that nice little gap at the end. So I'm going to secure this under a stitch as before, and then you can just adjust it as you wish. I'm going to secure it under a stitch on this side as well. And just secure it under this stitch so it won't go anywhere, won't slide around. I'm just going through that back loop of the stitch so it doesn't show from the front. Okay, there we go. And then you can just tie a little loop this side. Just tie a knot there, make a loop on this side, and you will already have your appliques sewn on. Pop these on top. And there you go. Ta-da! I love it. I love the look of these stitches at the front. Love, love, love the look of those stitches at the front. And when you hang it, it's just love, love, love it. And if you block this, it will hang so much better. It won't want to curl over at the top. Okay, so there we go. Oh, sorry, out of frame. Beautiful, beautiful. Just hanging. And if you've got it outside, hanging and blowing in the wind. Lovely. Okay, so there we go. I am going to pop these tails through and make it look like I've sewn them on, so I can show you the entire finished project. And there we go, there are my finished pennants with their appliques on, all done, and I love it, love it. Of course you could make these slightly smaller, use a thinner yarn, use a smaller hook. I love it, and like I said, just one of these would look great on its own, wouldn't it? So there you go, pennant bunting today, and don't forget we have a second pennant bunting today, which is one with an inverted V. This one's pointed, the other one is inverted, and it's a tiny little cute one today. So do check out that as well. So it's all on that playlist below, the bunting and garlands playlist. Do check that out. Have a look at the other gorgeous buntings and garlands we're doing this month. And if you want to see the written pattern instructions for this, then have a look in our Facebook group, and there's a link to that in the description below as well. And I'd love to see photos of what you've made. So in the Facebook group, don't forget to pop your photos in the album there. If you're on Instagram, then use the hashtag #BeyondTheCowl. That'd be great. It'd be great to see any photos there of what you make with us. So there we go. If you found this useful and helpful, and you've enjoyed crocheting along with me today, or just watching along, then please click that like button and give us a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. We love your appreciation. And until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.